Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Monday, April 3rd. I'm your host, Kate Walker. A Windsor high school went into lockdown today and 2 minors have been arrested after complaints of a gun inside the building. In a tweet from Nova Scotia RCMP just after noon, it read, RCMP officers are at Avon High School in Windsor, West Hants, for complaints of 4 people walking into the school with a firearm. No report of shots fired or injuries. Officers have located a pellet gun, 2 youths in custody. School on hold and secure, being cleared by officers. Avoid the area. This is one of several lockdowns related to violence in Nova Scotia schools in the past few months. Advocacy groups are calling for an inquiry into the death of an imprisoned Mi'kmaq woman. 36-year-old Sarah Rose Denny died of pneumonia on March 26th after being transferred to the hospital from the Central Nova Scotia Correctional Facility in Burnside. Her obituary reads that she was a mother from Sydney, Nova Scotia, who had a big heart and loved people. Today, Wellness Within and the Elizabeth Fry Society of Mainland Nova Scotia, as well as Denny's family, are calling for an inquiry into her death. In a release from the Wellness Within, a nonprofit that works for reproductive justice, prison abolition, and health equity, they say Denny's death is the latest of many deaths in provincial custody and the second Mi'kmaq person to die in custody in Nova Scotia this year. The release goes on to say, unlike other provinces, there is no requirement for a public inquiry following a death in custody in Nova Scotia. Both groups are calling on the Houston government to create an independent body to provide ongoing monitoring of conditions of confinement in Nova Scotia jails. Minimum wage is a little bit higher in Nova Scotia to start the work week. On Saturday, the minimum wage went from $13.60 to $14.50 an hour. It will rise to $15 in October. A release from the province says the minimum wage order also sets employment standards for overtime, being called into work at times other than scheduled working hours, piecework, deductions for board, lodging, and meals, and deductions for uniforms. If an employee is called into work outside their regular work hours, they must be paid for at least 3 hours of work at the minimum wage rate, even if the employee works only 1 or 2 hours. Annapolis Royal is facing a hefty price tag to protect the town from rising sea levels. $9.3 million is what it could take to build a seawall and redo the town's wharf to protect from rising sea levels, increased storm surges, and coastal flooding. The town received a report that confirmed everything that has come from other studies over the past quarter century. Sea levels are rising, and the town, along with its National Historic District, are at risk. For the town on the Annapolis River and facing the Annapolis Basin with a population of just 530, their annual budget is only about $2 million.
The impact is we have to be looking at all sources of funding, from federal, provincial, whatever regional money there may be, private sector, looking at our tax base, what it can absorb. But we'll have to be creative about how we finance this project.
The estimated cost for a 1.3-kilometer seawall is more than $4 million. If work is needed on the town's wharf, the cost could reach $9.3 million. The groundwork will happen over the next couple of years, but it will be longer than that before construction could start. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Paul McKinnon with the Downtown Halifax Business Commission about HRM voting to start charging for parking on Saturdays.
And they're saying about $538,000 in revenue if they institute this policy change. Obviously, it costs money to run a municipality, but you're saying that that should not be the place that they're looking?
It's not the place they should be looking, and certainly it's not the place they should be looking right now. I mean, downtown, I think, as a lot of people know, that we've come through a pretty tough time. You know, everyone has these past couple of years, but downtown, which was so dependent on that office market, people coming in working Monday to Friday, right? A lot of that group has disappeared. They're working from home, and again, that's fine, but it's a transition period. So, you know, our businesses downtown have lost a big part of their market and have become more and more dependent on people that do come on Saturdays. And so now suddenly the municipality is saying, well, we can make a little bit of money off those people that come and park on the street on Saturdays. So let's do that. So that's kind of a cynical take on it, but really the businesses that we're talking to, and I know have been writing to council, it kind of feels like they're being kicked a little bit while they're down. The other piece I'd mention too is it's not just about more money that customers will have to pay, but we've got staff as well. We've got a very competitive staffing market for restaurants, and a lot of those people that worked on Saturday shifts, they could actually park for free on Saturdays and Sundays. Something that's disappearing. So maybe that job, at a restaurant that's not downtown is looking at a bit more attractive. So it's really it's hurting the businesses downtown potentially in a couple of different ways, and we just think now is not the time to do this.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of SaltWire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
The U13A Halifax Hawks won gold at the 2023 SEDMA Minor Hockey Tournament. And for Roman and his Hawks teammates, it's a pretty big deal.
It feels really good, actually.
What was it like the last minute or so when it was counting down and you were getting close?
It was getting super hyper. I was super excited. I was just starting to get excited on the bench, and I couldn't sit still.
What does it mean to be able to share this with your teammates?
It means a lot. It means a lot, and I love this team a lot.
When you're on the bench talking to your teammates, when you're not out on the ice, what kind of stuff were you guys talking about, especially in that third period?
Not getting too cocky, keeping it cool, just playing as hard as we can to get that, and don't let down.
What does it mean to wear that Halifax Hawk logo on your chest?
It means a lot to me. It means a lot.
And what about some of the people that are here watching you? Who are some important people in your life that help and support you, take you to the rink, stuff like that?
My mom and my dad and my grandparents.
Last thing for you, I want you to look straight in. I want to give a shout out. Say hi or give a shout out to anybody you want.
What's up, everyone?
Congratulations to Roman and his U13A Halifax Hawks teammates. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now. Our weather specialist, Alistair Alders, is off today. Let's have a look at our 7-day forecast. Cloudy and 11 degrees tomorrow, then partly cloudy and 5 degrees Wednesday. Then look out for some ice turning to rain Thursday. Some clouds and sun for our weekend with a high of 9 a week from today. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to SaltWire.com. And you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.